Hi, I'm Irene Pease, your friendly neighborhood astronomer, and this is just a look at the skies for August 22nd through 28th, 2021, using Stellarium for visuals. So we're going to jump right in and see what's up in the sky. This is set for 8 o'clock Eastern time, so if you're in the kind of New York City area or a little bit north. Looking towards the west after sunset, we do have the Venus out there. Great. Venus is still that really, really bright thing in the sky after sunset. We move ourselves to a little bit later. Venus is a bit lower, of course. That's how things work as the Earth rotates. And so we can turn ourselves around and look off towards the southeast. And yes, we have 2 more planets there, Jupiter and Saturn, still hanging out over there. What's the excitement with Jupiter and Saturn? Oh yeah, the moon. We'll get to that. Jupiter. Focusing on Jupiter. That's not Jupiter. There's the Jupiter. So if you have telescope binoculars and you like seeing the moons just zippity-zooing back and forth like they do, the excitement to look for in Jupiter this week, if you have clear skies, I'm going to say early morning of the 24th. So if we look 23rd, 9, 10, 11, midnight, 1 a.m., wow, look what's happening to Io and Europa. We have kind of a little lunar conjunction, satellite conjunction, Jovian. Yeah, that's happening. You can see what's happening there with Io and Europa because they're right smack dab on top of each other. So in a telescope or binoculars, it would probably look like one, depending on what kind of power you can have to resolve them. Very exciting. That's the Jupiter. So that's 1 a.m. on the 24th. If you're going to be up, you can also check out Saturn. Right, so we have the Saturn, and my excitement for Saturn, I guess, would just be watching the moon. So if you are out on the 23rd, you don't have to be out super duper late, but you have to look super duper close to see some moons. They're a little bit tricky to see, even in a telescope. It takes a little bit of power to tease them out. But we have a few moons stretched out. Whoo, look at the stretchiness of the moons. And then a few nights later, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, they're all crunched in. So that's, yeah, just seeing like that change. It's not as extreme as like Jupiter's moons changing, zipping around, click like they do, but kind of fun, something to look for if you have binoculars, or actually for Saturn, if you have a telescope to view that, get that detail in Saturn. That's something to look for. The other planet that's outy out is the Uranus, right? So Uranus is going to be actually relatively close to the moon, or I should say the moon is going to be relatively close to Uranus on the 27th, the night of the 27th to 28th. If we move like up towards midnight, Uranus is basically between the moon and the star in Aries. That it's not the brightest star in Aries, right? So you have the brighter bits, and this one's a little bit further off. But if you can see this star, here we have Mag 4.5, Mag 3.6. So if you can see this one, you should be able to see this one also because it's brighter. There we go. So if you look in there with binoculars, that's kind of using the moon as a marker to help us pick out Uranus. It'll be the thing that looks like a circle and not a point. Of course, in here, the stars also look like circles, but anyway. So the moon is going to be getting more and more lit, currently full, but it's moving to about 77% lit by the end of the week. So that's what's happening with the moon. The other solar system thing that I usually don't talk about, of course, is the sun, because a lot of times the sun is, not doing a whole lot. It's out during the day, obviously. That's why we have our days. And I just decided to check in and see if it'd been doing anything exciting this last week. And it turns out, oh yeah, there was excitement this last week. This was on the 16th. So you can see, I don't know if you can see the date down here. There's a date. This is the 16th. Sunspots. Hey. The fun thing with the sun is if you watch it the next day, oh, look, it's rotating. So we see those sunspots from the 16th to the 17th to the 18th, starting to, I don't know, to the 19th. They're way over there. And then we've got something else coming up here. So that's exciting. 19th, 20th, and I had the 21st. So those are actually starting to fade. But it's doing something, little something happening with the sun. So yay that we can see. So if you do have your white light filter or something fancier, check it out. So it's being a little bit active, and that's just a little bit exciting. So we got these beautiful views from the Solar Dynamics Observatory, NASA, SDO. Thanks, NASA and SDO, for that. The last thing that I want to talk about is just a few more things to look for in the nighttime, because, not all of us have telescopes. So what other things can we look for in the night with just your eye or with binoculars? Well, I wanted to get back to doing just a little bit of constellations. So just a reminder, one of our great summer constellations that I wanted to focus on that's pretty high in the sky, or about as high as it's going to get in the sky later in the evening, we have Scorpius the Scorpion. So there's Scorpion. Yeah. So it looks kind of like a palm tree, a little bit tilted off to the right. You have the bright red star Antares. Nice. Twisty, curvy bit, and there's like this kind of hook of the tail. So pretty easy to spot naked eye if you have a southern horizon. If you have mountains or trees or something towards the south, it's a little bit harder to see through, terrestrial opaque objects. But if you can see towards the south, nice and close to the horizon, you can see Scorpius the Scorpion still. And if you have a very dark sky, you might notice some of the super lovely deep sky objects that we have over there. Okay, that's a little intense. But basically M6 and M7, Ptolemy's cluster, and the butterfly cluster. Yeah, those are the right ones. Butterfly cluster, magnitude 4.2. And the Ptolemy cluster, magnitude 3.3. So those should be naked eye in a dark sky. If you don't have dark sky, try just scanning with binoculars and you can see them pop right out. You'll also see maybe some other fuzzy spots. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff going along there in the plane of the Milky Way. But that's what we're looking for this week. Yeah, the Perseids mostly over, and there's a moon, and on the East Coast there's also a storm. So probably not going to happen if you're anywhere near me. But you can still look and see once the clouds have cleared, find the Scorpion, maybe find some nice open clusters, those cute young stars all hanging out together in space like they do. A little bit of sparkle in your week. So that's just your skies for this upcoming week, August 22nd through 28th. I'm Irene Pease, your friendly neighborhood astronomer. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll be back next week for the skies for August 29th through September 4th.